Environment Canterbury is pushing ahead with plans to finally clean up the air quality, but it comes at a cost to home heating.
It's June, which means the start of winter, and Environment Canterbury is moving in to continue the decrease in smoke emissions around the region. Ecan is pushing for more awareness with residents who use wood fires as their main source of heating. And a commissioner from the regional council says the number is improving every year.
Back in the year 2000, we were having something like 60 exceedance days a year where the level of pollution exceeded what's permissible. Last year we had 10. So there's been a big improvement.
He says there's still a lot of work to be done, with the regional council said to have emissions down to only 1 day of high pollution by 2020. Now there's a new requirement to stop the chimneys from smoking up a storm.
We now have a rule in the proposed air plan that means it's no longer permissible to have any visible smoke coming from your fire. Now we know that if you light a fire properly and you operate it properly, that bar the first 10 or 15 minutes when you get the startup process going on, it is possible to burn wood and not have smoke. So we now have a rule that says you can't have smoke. Didn't have it previously. And it meant that when we were trying to enforce these requirements, it was a bit harder for us.
This means air pollution officers will be on the streets giving advice and warnings to those that don't apply by the guidelines, and they could receive a $750 fine.
We've given people a much better understanding of how what they do with their fire affects the welfare and the health of the wider community. So I think a lot more people understand now that it's not just good enough to light the fire and be happy inside in the warmth. They've got to be conscious of the fact that they're producing smoke out of the chimney. So I think a lot of people will be much more prepared for this than they would have been 3 or 4 years ago. There will be some people who will be surprised still, and we will make sure they get a chance to stop being surprised and to learn how to do it properly.
Last year's results say it all, with Timaru being the dirtiest when it comes to smoke emissions, exceeding 41 days. As for Christchurch, they nearly halved that, sitting on 19. Over the last 3 years, work has been done to reach the goal in 2020. When back in February this year, the Regional Council proposed a plan to better manage smoke emissions and the transition of new heating technologies. Old-fashioned
wood burners are much dirtier than the modern ones are, and we're also trying to encourage the development of a new technology wood burner which is probably up to 10 times cleaner than the current wood burners that actually comply.
But Bedford says there has been a dramatic change in the way residents heat their homes that's adding to the decline, as well as the Christchurch rebuild.
Over the last 15 years or so, there's been a huge transition away from using wood as a fuel. Many homes now have heat pumps, and of course in new houses it's compulsory to not have wood burners. You can't build a new house in Christchurch at the moment and put what we call a complying wood burner in at present because they're just too dirty.
Currently 3 different brands of wood burners can be purchased, but they have to be imported from overseas, and like any new piece of technology, it comes with a heavier price tag. However, Bedford believes by 2017 the new emission fireplaces will be available locally and at a cheaper rate. Ecan is urging the region's residents to go online to find ways to improve the way they heat their home, and if anyone needs help, to contact Environment Canterbury to get advice. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.